Hey guys, welcome to the ASL Season 21 qualifiers. Over the next few days, we're going to be going through every single aired qualifier game and seeing who are the next 22 players to qualify for the ASL Season 21. There are 6 players who have already qualified. The top 4 from last season, which includes Soma the champion, Snow the runner-up, and then, of course, Barracks and Bisu from the top 4. They will each be in charge of a group during the round of 16 group selection. For the round of 24, we already have best qualifying and sharp qualifying from the ASL Season Open 1 and 2 tournaments. Those are both on my soup channel, as well as ArtosisCasts if you haven't checked them out. Absolutely excellent tournaments. Great play from those two. So that's the set of players that we won't be seeing in these qualifiers. Now, I know the big question that's been on everyone's mind, is Flash going to play? The answer is yes. Flash has announced that he will be playing this ASL, but that's not the only thing he announced. He's had some very bad arm issues. He's had surgery multiple times over the years, and that is an issue. It's really paining him right now. But he's decided to play this ASL Season 21 as his final ASL season. That's the way he's viewing it, he said. He's going to attempt to win this season. Anything short of that will be a disappointment. If somehow he gets better in the future with his arm and wrist, which I wouldn't really count on, we've never heard of anyone getting better in these situations, he said he'll consider coming again into the ASL. As far as his StarCraft career, he'll continue to play StarCraft, but not quite as much. This is probably, most likely, in my opinion, the last time we will see peak Flash is this season. And I will tell you what, he's the favorite going in. So, without further ado, let's get into our very first game. And here we go. It's going to be on Neo Sylphid. It looks like already Stork is leading 1-0 over Oregon, or Piano, as he's known. And this is kind of an interesting match. I would say it's a little bit of a mismatch. Stork is just an amazing Protoss vs. Terran player. And, like, he's in every ASL season, basically. That's something that we can't say about Oregon. Now, Oregon has been in ASL before, but, like, he hasn't been in a long, long time. I can't really remember the last season that he made it in. At this point, he's kind of like he's basically a commentator, right? I think that he doesn't have, like, too much of a shot here. But I guess we'll see. He's still playing actively and all that. I gotta maybe turn this down just slightly. I think it's a little bit loud. I'll be fixing the sound throughout this. I have to kind of go into these completely blind. So, yeah. Anyways. Looks like Stork scouting up right now and checking out where Oregon's at. He's going to go ahead, find him very, very quickly. Okay, so a few things. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there getting all the recording stuff going. Very, very hype season. But yeah, anyways, Oregon does, like, tons of commentary at this point. He's a very, very smart player. I remember when he first came on the scene back in, like, early 2000s. It was really exciting to see him. He had a lot of potential. Never really lived up to it that much, but he's become such a good analyst. He's hired all the time for commentary. So I do like to watch him play. I think he has good ideas, but he's mechanically pretty far behind the other players. He plays a pretty cheesy style in general. So it's hard to imagine him being able to keep up with Stork in this series. And of course, Stork already leads 1-0. Neo Sylphid, I consider this to be a pretty even map. I think early game is very good for Protoss here, but then if you get into a good solid late game, it's better for Terran, which makes it especially hard for Oregon, because it's hard to imagine him being even or ahead as we go into the later game. I just don't think he has that fundamental play down right now. Now, 2 SCVs blocking. Okay, he's going to block this first Zealot from coming in at all. And yeah, SCV running back a little bit there. He saw the second Zealot coming. He should be going third depot here. I don't actually see a third depot started yet, which is a little bit shocking. Oh, he's going fourth Marine, bunker, no third depot. I've talked about this so many times how I don't think that this is a very good play. And Stork actually just jumps on it. This is not a very good play either. He should have waited for the second Zealot. I think the timing of the bunker made him feel like he needed to go because he wasn't going to have that long with 2 Zealots. But yeah, the bunker gets up, very, very defensively placed. He is making that third depot, but the third depot is like a little bit late here. So he is going to hit a little bit of a supply block, it looks like. And with that add-on, like we might see him go into FD Terran. Yeah, there's a siege tank being made, and I think he had to cancel out an SCV there to get the siege tank going because of that little supply block. Now, his scout going to go in. Looks like he had already clicked on the... How did he... Wait a minute. I didn't see a time where he could do that, but maybe I missed it. The only way you can make an SCV glide through like that is with a mine command, and you have to have vision the minerals. So, like, there are tricks where you can go... Like, if something else has vision of the minerals and you click on it, like, before your other SCV dies, like, that's a little trick to scout someone, but I didn't see him do that. Anyways, I don't know. Looks like right now, Oregon pushing out. It is an FD push. We'll see how Stork ends up dealing with this. Stork isn't really known super well for, like, his micro-based play. Not that it's terrible or anything. Like, I think it's solid, but it's not like Bisu, where I'm like, well, Bisu will beat this with 4 Dragoons easily. But, you know, I think Stork will probably end up holding. But this is like, it is technically an FD push. You can see 2 siege tank plus all those Marines. This is actually a very good FD push against someone who opens up with 2 Zealots. This is the one that Fantasy uses when he plays against 2 Zealots specifically. Very Marine heavy. And we actually do not see the command center yet. This is a very, very late command center with an FD. And he is getting mines, but should probably be getting siege second. Now, he needs to get the Marines and SCV in front of the siege tanks. You have to keep these siege tanks alive for a fair amount of time. Now, the Zealot already taken a lot of damage. Dragoons microing back. That Zealot going to go down very quickly now. Okay, like... Oregon's doing it so far. He's kept both siege tanks alive. He really needs to lay the mines out. This is like really, really important. There you go. He gets one. Really good right there. Nice, nice control from Oregon. Both of his tanks are 2 goon shots from death. But he's just laid mines like right next to the gateway. So as long as he's careful with this control and doesn't stand over the mines, then his tanks can do lots of damage. Yeah, it looks like very good placement there. Observatory on the way. Oh, he actually drags 2 of the mines with that and doesn't lose it. So that's not terrible considering. And you can see Stork trying so hard. Gets 1 of the 2 siege tanks. That's big. That's a little bit sloppy there from Oregon. Now, there is still this tank. He's looking for damage. He's going to end up losing the siege tank. But you know what? This might have been enough damage for him. Like, he has his... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And it gets 1 more probe there with that mine kill. Oh, my God. The Vulture getting a lot of damage. He does have the Observatory coming up. He is going into 3 gates. 18 probes to 29 SCVs. This should end up being a Terran victory. Like, if you do a very solid follow-up, you should be pretty well ahead from this. Yeah, okay. The 2 factory follow-up isn't bad. I think that's probably an engineering bay he just started, but honestly, a 3rd factory would be better based on what he's seen. Yeah, he makes the engineering bay. So he might be just slightly nervous of, like, an all-in with a shuttle. And that would be... That's like, kind of reasonable when you think about it. With how far behind Stork is, I definitely know that some Protoss players here would go ahead and like maybe make a shuttle with Zealots in it, like 3 Zealots in the shuttle, and then mass Dragoons with Observer and try to break through. That's like a reasonable all-in to try from this position. But yeah, Oregon did a great job executing that. But as you can kind of see what I was talking about with the way that Oregon plays. Like, he has to play like really aggressive, kind of almost sneaky games with like lots of tactics in them, which makes sense. It makes sense. He's still a very good player. There's no question. It's just, will he be strong enough to make it into an ASL? Ooh, good catch on that vulture. If that vulture had gotten in. Now, he just lost 4 vultures basically for nothing. That's painful. You're only on 2 factories. 4 vultures for nothing is not what you're looking for. Now, obviously, if he had gotten 1 or 2 in, he's going to get really solid damage. Oh, wow, a hidden starport? Okay, so I don't mind the hidden starport as an idea. I've said many times one of my big predictions for Terran versus Protoss this season is heavy dropship usage. I think that the meta is ripe for heavy dropship usage, and things like 2-factory hidden port, I think, are the best ways to do it right now. But he just threw away 4 vultures. Also, he was already in a large worker lead. So, like, trying to kill more workers here would play better into a macro game than a timing attack game, because you're not going to hurt their army. You're going to sacrifice army for economy, which you've already done. So, like, generally in this type of position, when you do that much damage, a big follow-up like 5 or 6 factory push will probably be best. I feel like there's 3 different ideas at play here for Oregon. And yeah, I think that he has maybe not chosen the absolute best continuation to his advantage, but it's not like specifically terrible, right? Like, this could still definitely lead to a victory, but I think there's maybe some better choices that could have been made for it. This is really good Reaver defense so far from Oregon. Very nice to see. Ooh, that missile turret. Oh, and he gets it. Oh man. Okay. Now we have the dropship out. The dropship is coming down right now. Vulture's still running around. You know, looking at Oregon's play, like, I don't think it's perfect by any means. I think that there are slightly stronger choices he could have made in several areas so far, but overall, I'm actually very much enjoying this game. Haven't seen as many Oregon games lately, just because he casts a lot of different tournaments. So, like, I see him in the caster chair very often, but not as often as a player nowadays. But very fun to see. And look at this drop. Like, this drop is really unexpected, and it should be. Based on everything that Stork has seen, this doesn't feel like it should be a drop right now. And this is part of the reason why I think 2-factory hidden starport's really good. Now, look at this. He's going to get really solid damage. Oh my god, offensive mine on the Reaver, but he actually made it too far away. A really cool idea since it had no scarabs in it, though. And he is targeting down the probes so quickly. Look at that. That's huge probe damage. That's huge probe damage. He's 10 workers up once again, 3 base versus 2. Now, this situation should, in my opinion, again, go into a 3rd base. 3rd base will allow you to scale up into like an 8 or 9 factory push that should be unstoppable by Stork. But if you attack now, I feel like this is the one opportunity where Stork can actually end up holding on. Is if you do like a dedicated 5 or 6 factory push here, right? Like, how many units has he given for probe damage? So far, we've seen, let's see, the 2 tanks, the initial vultures, the Marines. And then, like, since then, we've seen about 8, maybe 12 vultures go down. So he's given about 12. Here's going to be like 3 more that probably don't make it out. Right, like, he's giving so many units in the name of probe damage. Whereas Stork is like, he's just consistently making Dragoons and Reavers and Zealots and stuff like that. Like, his army size is okay. It's like a doable army size. So yeah, if Oregon pulls the trigger here and attacks, like, he might win with this. Like, it's possible. It's definitely not, like, he is ahead. You should look at this position and think, okay, Oregon can win. But, like, again, I think that this is maybe the one window where Stork can hold this. I think every other play, basically, Stork is pretty dead in the water. Now, that's some very good Reaver usage. Already picks off 2 tanks. Takes some damage on the shuttle, yes, but he still has the 2 Reavers, which is important. He hasn't forced a siege yet. I really like the speed with which Oregon's pushing. I love that he's going through this area because speed zealots are going to be a little bit scary. Dragoon's getting good connections, going to be a little bit scary. Stork clears the center a bit of the mines, keeps his units kind of in the center. Look at the mini map here. Okay, look at this here. We actually have Oregon right now pushing back, laying a ton of mines because he's afraid of a counterattack, and then bringing them back down. That is some beautiful, smart play from Oregon right there. That is really high IQ to bring those back because he knows that this army's out here. Now, look at this. Stork is going up there, but the mines are ready for him. These are mines that were just laid by those vultures. Some great play coming out of Oregon. All right, he sieges up. Look at that. The mines bought him time to get in position and stop this counterattack. Now, look at this. He's bringing his army back to sandwich this. This is so smart. This is so smart. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. What great play here from Oregon. And now that he's erased this army, this makes his attack unstoppable. Stork tried a couple things, but like, Oregon just kind of kept track of what was going on. Those mines to set up the defense against the counter, and now bringing his entire army together and pushing through the center. This is basically perfect. Now, those are some very good Reaver hits. Oh, he's going to lose it. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Now, Stork trying to hold this still. But unable to do it. Yeah, just mathematically at this point, it doesn't seem like there's any chance. Oregon just dealt with everything too well. I think this was a superb game. GG. And Oregon ties it up 1-1. All right, we're going into game number 3. Oregon versus Stork. Very cool game there from Oregon. I'm really excited to see what he's going to have planned here. This is Polestar, by the way. They are cross spawns. I tell you, like, I'm just totally enamored by that game from Oregon. Like, he plays these pretty aggressive openers generally, very mind gamey type stuff. But that, again, it makes sense. He is an older generation player. He is a player that does a lot of analysis. He is not as mechanically strong as some of these other guys. So you can see that his FD push was the proper FD push. He executed it well enough, got some good damage, followed it up with some tricky play. The dropship play was tricky. He got in there and got a lot of probes. He just kept up the vulture harassment, macroed up. But the place where, well, obviously those are very important, but the place where I was most impressed, because it's like, okay, well, the FD, yeah, you got him. Okay, yeah, the drop was tricky. Yeah, you got him. But running back with those vultures to lay the mines, recognizing that the counterattack was the right way. And the thing is, he went into the area where he couldn't be flanked, that little pocket third. And then he runs back, lays the mines. As the counterattack comes, he unsieges his whole army, goes back, sandwiches the counterattack, and that is what basically guaranteed the victory for Oregon. It was really good play. Really good play. Wow. Very exciting stuff. Okay. We're here in game 3. Is Oregon going to be able to knock out Stork? Yeah. So, I guess, we'll see. Now, cross spawn, it is a forward gate. So I kind of wonder what what damage he might be able to get done. Probably nothing. It's a factory expansion and you're opening up with zealots and it's cross spawn. Like, that's the perfect situation for Oregon to just hold everything, right? So it's not a great opening there for Stork. We'll see, though. You never know. Like, sometimes you don't see it coming, and you know, maybe that allows you to get a zealot in. Like, they only went 3 Marines, and you pop in with zealot plus probe plus you know, the Dragoon comes out a little bit later, that type of thing. But no, he pops down with the Zealot. The Zealot's seen. You know, when you see the Zealot, it does pop into your mind that you could do an attack. Like, Zealot openers are very good against, like, maybe a gasless expansion if you find them quickly, that type of thing. I find them to be pretty useless if they make lots of units. By the way, one thing to mention, I'm actually just kind of recognizing this now. So you can see down here, this is the finals of the group. I actually didn't realize that. I'm kind of surprised and impressed that Oregon is in the finals. He's one game from being an ASL, which is huge. Huge. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm getting used to what the ASL qualifiers are going to be here in the very first series. And I'm avoiding any sort of like spoiler type stuff. So it's going to take me a minute to figure everything out. But yeah, it is the finals of Group 1, basically. Now, this is another FD push. Now, you might look at this and say, why doesn't he have 2 siege tanks here? Well, the thing is, it was only a 1 Zealot that was made by Stork. When you make 2 Zealots, the 2 siege tanks are better because you have more time, basically, between when the Dragoons are coming out. And so, yeah, like against 1 Zealot, 1 Zealot or 0 Zealots, you want to go with 1 siege tank. So look, he's hitting here. There's only 3 Dragoons. 4 Dragoons, 1-shot a Marine or 2-shot a tank. So that's kind of something you want to avoid. That was a good pullback by Oregon, though. That was a good try from Stork. Good try. Now, Oregon has to be careful. Because if this mine, like he might, yeah, see, he's trying to drag a mine into the Marines, but Oregon's got good control here so far. And he's keeping it down to 3 Dragoons. Stork desperately wants 4 Dragoons to hold this. Like, 4 makes all the difference in the world. He does have that shield battery there. All right, he has the 4 now. Oh, but he loses 1 almost instantaneously. Still, he's holding pretty well so far. Yeah, he's down 4 workers, but this is not actually the end of the world at all. Like, wait, what just... He was down work. Am I crazy? He's only done 1 worker right now. Oh, I guess 2 must have popped at the same time, and maybe 1 died there. In the fight from Oregon. That makes sense. Okay, anyways. Wait, a dropship coming up? Oh my gosh, it's so weird from Oregon. I haven't actually seen this particular build, but it kind of makes sense, right? Like, he did the FD push, but this is... FFD. This is fake FD. This is actually a 1-base dropship. Oh my god, FFD. New build. Here today from Oregon. Now, he's actually getting some really, really reasonable damage here so far. Okay, that mine did not hit. He did get rid of that. But he's getting good probe kills. Look at that. Already up 6 workers right now. And is he going to save these? Okay, he's going to leave 1. No, don't turn around for that. The dropship, if the command has already been given for the Vulture to go into the dropship, and you click the dropship away, the dropship will turn around and try to get it. So you have to be really careful about that. Anyways, so this was an FFD, right? So FD is fake double. You're trying to fake a 2-factory push while you expand, but the FD is a very well-known build. The fake double factory, right? It's a pressure build. It's just recently come back, mostly because of fantasy. Now, I'm calling it FFD. It's a fake double. So it's like you're faking the FD build. You're like, yeah, I'm just expanding. But actually, it was a dropship build with a little poke in the front. So he pokes in the front. He got the gateway. He got a couple probes and stuff. And then out of nowhere, because all the Dragoons are at the front, you drop Vultures in the main base and you get a bunch of probe damage. This is a smart-ass build. Like, this is Oregon is showing us high IQ in these games. Did you know that older commentators that still play Terran are the greatest? It's just the case. It's just the case. All right. Dropship is waiting there for some potential damage. Has 4 vultures in it. Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit smarter to reduce how many vultures you're dropping off a little bit later because you're more likely to get caught. But that's okay. It's not a huge difference here. Oregon right now, he's just kind of patrolling around with his vultures. He's being so active with the vultures as well. Okay, Stork gonna set up this third base. Dude, this is like really so exciting. I'm so excited by this. All right, here we go. He comes in with the drop now. He thought this was the best time. Maybe Stork is a little bit distracted. Drops a couple off there, or yeah, he drops 2 off in the natural and tries to target some down. And he's gonna lose the dropship. Actually, this drop did well. This is a high quality drop already. All right, he's up 9 workers. Now this is incorrect. I do not think he should be pushing with 3 tanks and 3 vultures right now. This doesn't make sense because again, he's traded so many units and production time as well to get a ton of probes. There's no reason why Stork shouldn't be able to stop this. But let's see. He sieges up. This is scary for Stork. He cancels the entire pylon wall. The Nexus is still making it's close to finish. Close to finished here. Reaver on the way. I think Stork will save this. It's very close. If he saves this, he's going to be in good shape. If he doesn't, he's screwed. Yeah, I think he saves this. Oh my god, it's so close. Okay, as long as Oregon right-clicks on it, it's gone. Stork was a little bit slow. This is really bad news for Stork. Really bad news. And you can see he's going to be able to stomp it because he just has so many more units. I think yeah. The thing is, if he attacked only in with Dragoons, maybe he saves it, but he takes pretty high damage there to the Dragoons against the Siege Shanks. The shuttle makes a huge difference. Now, the couple remaining vultures run in and snipe even more probes. This looks so much like a victory for Oregon. This, again, like he might, because we saw what he wanted to do in the Silpha game, I think he's going to bring this game to a head really quickly and try to do a 2-base push with 6 factories. Yeah, he's making 6. So it's very similar to the Silphid game. Like, I mean, I am definitely impressed from what Oregon has been able to pull off here. And he should be able to win off of this. 32 probes to 51 SCVs. The thing is, he's still harassing. Okay, cool. I think this should be the very end of his harassment. Like, oh my god. I know Stork is yelling right now in his room. Really, at this point, he should just build up his army and go. Because there is just no possibility of Stork keeping pace with 6 factory production right now. I feel like the only thing he needs to do is build depots, build units. Don't make another SCV. I don't know why you're making another dropship. Like, there's no... And the thing is, like, you can win with moves, right? Like, he's so far ahead. Like, he can make the dropship and do more, but it doesn't actually help his position more. It's not like you're like, I need to get him to 25 probes. He has too many probes. I need to get him to 25. Some of these moves are win more. And the thing is, it's not... It's like his economy's already screwed. Like, just make your army big enough to beat his army and you win. It's like the only factor that's left. So he's got, you know, a one full of vultures. That's like... We got 6 supply down here in this dropship. We have 10 supply up at the other dropship. So it's like 16 of his supply right now is flying around in 2 dropships that might kill some more probes, but probably would do better with his army. I don't want to be overly critical here because Oregon's playing well and everything, but this is like the type of flaw that will cost you games sometimes. Like, he's far enough ahead that I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to win, but yeah, it's to note. It's to, like, it should be noted. Whatever. Okay. Oh my god, that could be the juiciest shot ever. Oh, he missed it. Oh, that could have been so much better. He could have gotten like 6 probes with 1 shot there. He got like 1 or 2. But still, you know, still getting some damage in. Ooh, I like this idea from Stork. Gonna blow up some depots. He's trying to slow him down a little bit. You know, Stork, he needs magic to happen. Okay, he's gonna, yeah, he gets the barracks. That's not bad. He gets the barracks in the center. That was being floated to just kind of absorb shots during the push. He got 2 depots. The other 2 might burn down if Oregon's not fast enough. You can, yeah, Oregon's still got some speed to him, though. You can see that for sure. 340 APM, kind of crazy. Yeah, Stork's trying to fight. He just doesn't have enough. Just at the end of the day, has so few units right now. Sieging up, doing a push here on this 3rd. He has so many Goliaths. I actually really like the amount of Goliaths. I think this is a great thing to do when you get ahead like this. Is like, okay, how could he hold you? Well, it probably has to do with dropships. So, like, the amount of Goliaths he has basically will erase dropships. They won't even be able to come anywhere near him. And the Goliaths still fight okay. You know, Vultures are going to be more efficient in a lot of ways, but, like, the Goliaths are still going to fight okay, and they don't take that much longer. They're right in between the Siege Tank and Vulture for build time. All right, another drop going off. Jeez Louise, man. It feels like I'm watching fantasy or something right now. Really some great play here from Oregon. Stork trying his best to hold on here, but no units really remain. And I tell you what, this is the best result in years for Oregon already. It has been years since he's been in ASL, but it's great to see him return. In fact, he's like, yeah, he's one of these players that his peak was like prior to 2007, as far as my memory tells me. So yeah, that's like, that's pretty impressive. Very few players have been able to do that in ASL. It's like Nada and Pusan and Oregon. I'm going to have to look up exactly when his peak was. But anyways, GG and Piano makes it into ASL. Okay, we're going into our next group finals here. And this is from Group 2. And this is going to be Mini versus Mong. Mong playing under Black Pig Power. He's been playing under that ID a lot lately. And this is game number 3. So the winner here will be going on to ASL. One thing I think I forgot to mention at the beginning. So basically there's each day of qualifiers is really, really long. And we'll be having, I believe, 11 players day 1, 11 players day 2 qualify. And it's the same group of players. So if you see your favorite player lose today, that does not mean that they are out of ASL. They get the second chance, right? So half of the people who are going to qualify are going to lose today. To just put that kind of into perspective. So for instance, Stork, yes, he lost to Oregon, but he's pretty likely to make it through on day 2, I'd say. I think he's still definitely ASL quality. Here, looking at these two, both these guys I think are likely to make it into ASL. Mini, almost 100%. Mong, I'd put it like 80% to get in. Like, he's super strong, and he's in very good shape right now as well. We saw him in the ASL Open. He looked really strong. Mini, we saw in the ASL Open. Sock took him out with one of Sock's best games I've ever seen. So, yeah, there you have it. Okay. Yeah, so Polestar, we're on game 3. I'm not surprised that it's 1-1. Again, I value Mini higher than Mong, but Mong is someone who can kill absolutely anyone in the world in Terran vs. Protoss. Even Snow. Mong is like a macro machine with mech. Like, he is extremely good at macroing out mech units. So, like, he's always been known as being much weaker Terran vs. Zerg. Like, that's the matchup that holds him back oftentimes. His Terran vs. Protoss is one of the strongest in the world. Like, it's so much stronger than his overall strength in the Terran scene. Like, is he a top 10 Terran? Yeah, I would say he's a top 10 Terran. As far as his TVP, though, it's actually probably, like, top 5-ish, realistically, just with how good he macros, how well he macros. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And, you know, Mini here with his Nexus first. And he doesn't actually cross-spawn scout, by the way, so that's kind of interesting as well. And the probe going to try to harass the hell out of this SCV. He wants to slow Mong from checking out what's going on here. By the way, Mong did a cross-spawn scout, which I think is really funny. Why did he cross-spawn scout? Probably because it's Mini. And he knows Mini's build is going to be ridiculous abusive. But also it might just mean that he has a rush build planned for close spawns. Like he might have a pressure build or something like that. And in fact, he only checked the Nexus area. So he actually might have predicted as well that this will be Nexus first. 4-player maps, Mini is like a Nexus first beast. Like he always goes Nexus first. Not always, but very, very regularly. Now, he is doing a 2-gate expand, but also a quick core. So it'll probably be like 2 Zealots into 2 Goons into 2 Goons. Generally, that's how that goes, but let's see. You know, Mini likes to push... oh my god. So that should be 8 SCVs? I'd love if you selected those for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe it's 8, but it might have been 9. Okay, so Dragoons are being made. This, like, if Mong controls correctly, if he controls very well here, he should be able to break this. It doesn't always mean game. Terrans have gotten much better at following up the Nexus bust. But Protoss still has chances. It matters how many probes go down. Okay, so he drills all the way up the ramp. Now, Mong is taking an extremely aggressive approach. You can see already the minerals have been mined out on that ramp. Oh my god, if that Dragoon had been surrounded, that would have been absolutely terrible for Mini. Now, 2 of the Marines got down to 1 shot left, so that's a little bit painful. Also, we just saw a lot of damage put on this goon. Okay, it was only shields, so that's good at least. The bunker is within range of the high ground when range is done, but not pre-range. So that's actually a better placed bunker than what I thought it was. And down will go the Nexus. Now you can see it's still a slight probe advantage here for Mini. And don't forget that a bunch of SCVs are not mining right now. So the overall economy-wise, it's still slightly better for Mini. But, you know, obviously Mong is in control of this game right now. Now, the most common way that it is played from here. Oh my, this is huge. This is the huge moment right here. So Mini was trying something pretty cheesy, going double gate out here. And like Mini's in trouble now that this was found. This is, I was going to tell you about the different ways that people follow up with this. And one of them, I wasn't going to name it till probably 3rd or 4th, because it's probably the 3rd or 4th most common, is putting gates out on the map. But you should scout the entire map when you bust a Nexus, because that's one of the ways they come back. The other ways that they do it is they just come out and double expand. That's the most common, is you get Observer, you clear the mines, you double expand really quickly, because you know your opponent is on very low production right now. And then also, it's semi-common that you'll see like a very all-in push with the shuttle. A lot of Dragoons, a shuttle. You know, they're going to probably only have like a couple tanks. It's a very mine-based defense in this situation. But yeah, Mini was trying for a very cheesy win as a follow-up here, but that's, you know, that's very Mini. You can see he's just trying to get rid of all the mines right now. And he's doing it. So, the follow-up here from Mong, he's just macroing steadily. I will say that even though we saw the 2 gates, I actually like this follow-up he's doing more than what was more common. Just recently, I've seen players more comfortable sitting on 1 factory after a Nexus bust, and he's doing that here, and I quite like it, but right now we have a little attack, so let's talk about that instead. Mini is being unbelievably brave, running around with Dragoons without any detection. He's just like setting mines off left and right. He could be in trouble as he goes down, because that mine on the right will be set off. And he knows there's one to the south. He doesn't know there's one to the right. Just to mention. Okay, so this is a later second factory, and I think that this is very good for Mong. I was mentioning before like people were trying to get this second factory up really quickly to try to have like a good unit set. but it seems like that doesn't quite work with the economy as well as this particular one, where it's like a very delayed second factory. So I think that this is really solid play from Mong. Very, very happy to be seeing it. He gets up into his armory. You know, he's got the eBay up here. Mini hasn't taken the third base. You know, he did lose some minerals trying to hide those gates and everything, so that's a little bit annoying. Academy coming up off of the 2 factories. I do like it, but that plays into the third Nexus from Mini that Mini will be taking here. And we'll see if Mini goes into Reaver. I believe he is going to. It's hard to justify anything other than Reaver. Reaver's like the ultimate stalling tool, which is kind of what you need here. I'm very interested to see Mong's take on how he wants to play this, because Mong is such a macro guy. You know, a lot of times I'll look at these positions and I'll tell you guys, okay, in this position, I feel like there's not a great 2-base timing attack. It's very coin flippy if that's going to work. Like, you should probably take a third, that type of thing, right? And I look at this in kind of a similar way. It's like his factory adds are so late at this point. I think he should obviously add 2 to 3 factories, but he should probably go into a third base. Like, just the speed with which your army is going to scale up. Like, Mini's going to probably go up to 8 gates, and he could go up to 10 gates here very quickly. So, and the thing is, Mong is so good macro-wise that I think it'd be just a good play in general for him to, you know, go ahead and take that third. Okay, dudded Scarab there. Third Nexus is still making. We'll be sending probes there relatively soon. Gets that full pylon wall up. Extra depot. That's a really poorly placed depot. It's going to make it hard to add factories if the game goes really big. So only 4 gates right now. I think he's just going for consistency of production. Oh, was that a factory above the factories? That would be like a really late 6th factory. I'm not a fan at all of that, if that is a factory. Yeah, so that's a pretty late factory right there. Like, to add your 6th factory that late, when you look at it, it's like, okay, how much is that going to add to the battle? So, like, if he moves out now, that factory will have added 0 units. If he moves out in a minute, it's going to have added 2 vultures or 3 vultures maximum. So, I don't know. When I see a factory added that late, it's like, is that making the difference? We'll see, I guess. Okay, Mong starts to push out. Now, again, this could go either way. Like, a push could go either way, and Mong still... He could take a 3rd command center, and I don't think it's bad. He's at 51 workers. He's playing against a 3-base Protoss player. Mini looks like he's thinking about doing some of these shuttles. Coming in the back. Ooh. Some well-placed mines, but actually... Oh, yeah, that one did take a mine. We didn't see that. It was under the mini-map, but did take a mine. Great targeting here from Mong. Oh, no, he didn't target the Reaver. He had a chance to blow up that Reaver right there with that tank shot, and he actually hit a Zealot instead. It will still get taken out. Not too much damage. The whole army of Mong comes back. So, Mini just kind of turned this game on its head a little bit. I think that, you know, Mong had... Again, it was kind of like, maybe this works, maybe this doesn't. I'm leaning more and more towards an attack doesn't work, but we just saw Zealot legs are very, very late here. Like, at 12 minutes, he does not have Zealot legs yet, which is a bit of a problem. Now, here comes Mini in a giant arc, and he actually pulls back just as the siege occurs. So even though he doesn't have the Reavers, he is forcing some sieging, which is really important for holding a push like this. He does need to buy time until he has Zealot legs. The Zealot legs, again, very, very late start on those. I know it was a weird game, so we can't be too critical about it. Like, you know, after a Nexus bust and Bit of harassment there with the Reavers trying to slow down your opponent. Right, Mong continuing to push forward. Getting a very nice position. Has a good, healthy amount of Goliaths. 3 volleys to kill a shuttle with this many. So pretty quick. Probably only be able to unload like 2 to 3 units maximum from a shuttle. If good targeting. No splash damage here, unfortunately. Oh my god, that Vulture getting behind is so sick. Wow. Very good. Very good from Mong. What an excellent push. Look how many siege tanks he has. It's very impressive. Mini has some units in between trying to slow this. Now, yeah, this is looking like it's game. Mini is one of the people who actually can win from these crazy positions, but I don't think so in this particular time. Now, he is getting a lot of damage here at the natural, but I don't think it's anywhere near enough. Notice how he's targeting out comm stats. This means that his last ditch effort is DT based. So you can see that Mong instantly threw a scan down. Oh, he's actually out of scans now. So DTs actually could theoretically erase this army. Look at how he's going back down again. Mini is the master of this type of move. He leads with his Zealot to get rid of the mines. DT's coming out. Hey! Oh, he gets it. He gets it. I don't know what that was. I think it was just splash damage, residual splash damage clearing it. But he is about to have another comm stat as well. Mini looking like he's going to have to go to day 2. Some great play here from Mong. I wish I had seen the first 2 games. GG, and Mong qualifies for ASL. Okay, we're going to go into our next group finals. And here we go. This is going to be True versus Rush. That is pretty exciting. So yeah, the barcode here is True. And going up against Rush is like, what a great finals to a group. Now, a couple things here. First off, Rush is one of the best Terrans for sure. Well, Flash is playing this season, so we don't have to pussyfoot around it. The best Terran in the world right now is Flash. In my opinion, actually, Royal is number 2 right now. I actually think Royal has more potential to win ASL than even Light this season. But Rush is top 4 in my opinion. And I know that we just saw him lose to Sharp. Sharp is specifically really good in Terran versus Terran, and maybe better than Rush in that regard, but I think the other 2 matchups probably Rush is a little bit stronger in. Definitely TVC. Which is an important matchup to be good at right now. Either way, Rush is a higher caliber player than True at the moment. Yeah, I think True is a player. He's kind of aggressive overall. He's someone who gets like teased a little bit for how he plays by the other pros, similar to Shuttle or Comm or someone like that. But I have this feeling that there's going to be a moment where everything clicks for True and he's one of the best Zergs in the world. I kind of feel like that's coming. You know, I've casted a lot of True games on ArtosisCasts and everything. And like, he's still up and coming. I think he thinks about the game in a pretty fresh way. He has a good mixture of aggression and intelligence. Yeah, I just feel like he's going to be a top Zerg player. First off, I think he's going to make it into this ASL. Probably not this match against Rush. But True is one of the guys where I'm like, yeah, he's one of the guys that's the future of this game right now. You know, there's a small group where it's like, okay, Scan, Motive, Paralyze, True. I'm sure I'm forgetting 1 or 2 guys that I've been talking about lately, but like that little group, I'm like, yeah, these guys are like these are the guys to watch right now as they rise up. Like maybe they're round of 24 guys right now, and occasionally like round of 16, like we saw from Scan last season. But like, I'm talking the next 3-4 years. These are the guys where I'm like, okay, they're going to start making top 4s. They're, you know, I think they're the most important up and coming players right now. And I definitely put True in that group. So I'm excited to see what he'll do here. I love that it's map 1 here on Knockout. I don't know how many games that we'll end up showing here. Are we going to show all 3? That'd be great. I'd love that. That'd be amazing. But again, I don't know what the format of these ASL qualifiers are. But yeah. Woo. Hope that you guys are enjoying the ASL qualifiers. For anyone who's wondering, I've mentioned this a lot of times, but it's early game, so we may as well talk about it a little bit. So the way ASL is being done this season, first off, I'm doing all of the qualifiers, and all of those will be aired first on my Soup channel, which is Artosis on Soup. Soup is what Africa TV rebranded to a few years ago, as you guys might recall. So yeah, they'll all be live there first, and like a couple days later, they'll be on YouTube. All the qualifiers will be on ArtosisCasts, and the Soup esports channel will have the main ASL cast of Tasteless and myself. That's how ASL is going forward. So if you want to see them earlier, you got to check them out on the Soup channel. And we see here, this is, by the way, these 4 Marines walking down are doing exceedingly well. Really annoying the hell out of True. Losing that Overlord is, that can be a brutal thing because he is supply blocked here. Yeah, unless he did a little trick there. While I was kind of talking about the channels, I wanted to get that out in the beginning still. I should have said it right at the start, but I don't know. I do all this stuff off the top of my head. So, you can see True still trying to keep a little aggression on. He should go back into droning here. His Ling is getting really, really good intel right now, and it's going to be very hard to kill. You know, you're going to have to kind of, unless he messes up with it, you're going to have to kind of flank it with like 2 Marines to kill it over time. But yeah, he's trying to cause a little bit of lost mining time, a little bit of damage. He sees that this is a +1 build, but he's hurt the economy a little bit here of Rush, so it's hard for Rush to get all the barracks up in time. Like, you want to go up to 4 barracks before you make your missile turrets. Is he going to be able to afford that? I don't know. Because he's had to have, like, a lot of SCVs off mining and everything. It's a little bit tricky. He's got to get, like, he's got about 15 seconds before he has to start his missile turrets, I believe. I didn't see the exact timing of the Spire because it was kind of a weird game, a weird opener. But don't forget, of course, True took damage as well. You can see, dude, look at this, 460 APM running around with this circling, and this is real. Like, that's real. Like, he's actually pressing that many buttons. He's not holding down keys. He is being so annoying with this right now, even trying to utilize stim to get rid of these. Missile turrets are going up. Mutas are already flying over here. Okay, he finally catches and kills that. Ooh, really good turret placement, actually. That mirrors some other turret placement I've seen lately. I like that. I haven't seen it on that side, but that's good. He's getting enough. And notice how Rush was only able to afford 3 barracks. This is a wild game. Like, you can see how much the aggression from both sides has changed the dynamic. So few drones there, but at the same time, only 3 racks here for Rush. This is normally a 4 barracks build, but he had to sacrifice something here to get everything up in time. And look at True now. True knows that this is not a good-looking scenario right now for Rush compared to what he wanted. So if he kills a depot, it's pretty strong. Like, we're only on 31 SCVs. That's kind of a low number for right now in the game. Oh, he flew an Overlord into the turrets. That hurts. So the 4th racks is actually being added. I am a little surprised he's going for the 4th barracks, but they're not showing us everything that Rush is seeing. Like, I heard a scan in there. And I guess if you identify, okay, if he knows that the 3rd hatch is being made there, which I honestly don't think he knows the 3rd hatch is being made in the main base, but maybe he assumes it, then I think the 4th racks is a strong play. If the 4th racks is not being made there, I think that going up towards a single starport is probably a better play. But in this case, yeah, it looks pretty good. Like, True is really kind of doubling down on Mutalisk harassment. And with that 3rd hatchery, he'll be able to build Zerglings as well. So he'll probably go for an army crush or a massive counterattack at some point. Which actually, these are ways, especially the counterattack, that seem natural to True. True wants to play these super, like, aggro, in your face, make it dirty type of games. Now, he's going to expand to the bottom right natural. I think that's an excellent choice. It's the furthest away base right now for Rush. It's going to be very hard for him to get down there and attack. Fifth barracks on the way after that factory gets started. $38 SCVs to 27 drones right now. He's got over a pack of mutas. Has them very well stacked at the moment. He's waiting. He's trying to see, like, oh, are you going to come over the bridge? That's a great place to micro the mutas against the Marines. It's hard for them to keep a solid line against the mutas. You want flat lines facing the mutas with the Marines. Just the general shape that you're looking for. See, as soon as anything's out in the front, like when one Marine separates, that's when he gets a kill. See, that Marine was a little in front, but that was a little bit of miss micro. His mutas weren't stacked enough, so when he went for the attack, only like 1 or 2 were in range. That's why you're like seeing them click like frantically during this time. You want to keep them as close to perfectly stacked as possible so you get them all to actually shoot. Okay, he's picking off a few units. He is losing a few mutas here as well. He only lost 1 there, but he picks off a medic. Yeah, see, that was a nice, pretty straight flat line that he had against those mutas there. Another muta pick off. He's still got enough to do one-shots. Losing a little bit more there. A lot of lings coming up. That actually could have been a good engage. Those were pretty spread, but I think he couldn't see that very well. Oh, no, an Overlord's there. It might get caught. Okay, lots of lings coming out, right? He was looking for potentially an Army Crush or a counterattack, and it looks like True right now is falling apart against Rush. Rush is applying pretty standard pressure, and he just fed a ton of units into him. I think Rush kills him here. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. GG, Rush wins game 1. We're going into game number 2 here of Rush against True. We're going to be on Neo Sylphid. And of course, that final map is Polestar for the qualifiers here. Yeah, so Rush, I mean, you could see it was like a slightly different level. True kind of fell apart a little bit. If, you know, Rush kind of sent down that decent-sized group of army. The Lings kind of ran into it. Then the mutas came back. The mutas ran into it a little bit. He lost a little bit. The thing is, if you're going to do like an army crush with Ling muta against mass +1 Marine medic, you need to hit the engage just right. Just right. As soon as Terran starts picking units off here and there and shaving down your army and getting some damage on your army, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So True was unable to keep it all together there. I feel like from that game, though, you can look at that and be like, oh, I kind of see what you mean, Artosis. Like he's getting really good. He's not quite there. He's not the level of Rush, but you know, he's definitely getting better. He's definitely a very strong player. All right. Now it looks like just a standard wall here from Rush. We'll see what True opens with. I would imagine it'll be a fast expansion, but you never know. He is going to pull first, an overpull. So this is a nod towards the potential of like an 8 racks play. I actually thought that Rush might 8 racks coming into this, just like a forward barracks, a little bit of Marine pressure. You know, a lot of times the Korean mentality when you're a better player is to attack your opponent to make them kind of fall apart a little bit. It's one of the most fascinating differences between the Korean mentality in StarCraft and what has historically been the mentality of the non-Koreans in StarCraft. You know, historically, now I think opinions have begun to change a little bit over time, but historically it was like, well, you want to play a longer game so that you know, mistakes or better decisions stock up for you, or mistakes stock up for them, like and that's how you outplay someone that you're better than. Whereas the Koreans want to bring it to a head. They want to attack and force the mistakes, right? So I've always been very interested in that. And that's part of the reason why I was like, oh, maybe he'll do an 8 racks here. It seems like a decent play for game number 2 when you win a game that looks like that in game number 1. But yeah, it's an overpool opening, so he would have been a little bit behind there. Instead, you look at this, and he's a little bit ahead. You know, and with the speed of this the speed of this layer that we have from True. My brain is just farting here. I was just doing some calculation on overpool, but it's like, wait a minute, was that not overpool? Like, I don't always pay 100% attention to the exact build order in the beginning. Sorry if that was 11 pool, but anyways, whatever. In this situation, what we see from True, you want to go, yes, you want to go third depot, and you want to go 1 Rax Academy rush as rush, because the mutas are going to be out about 20 seconds faster than normal. And if you try any of this fancy like quick +1 rush, or you try like to go 2 Rax Academy rush, the timings just don't really work out on those. By the way, Rush bringing him forward 4 Marines to fight against those 5 Lings, and he had that SCV blocking slightly, so it was okay. He was just looking to pick off a Zergling or 2. But yeah, when they're going for this fast of a Mutalisk rush, you just want to get that Academy up immediately, get your stim going, get your range going. I actually heard about someone against this build going range first, which someone told me about that, and then I tested it, and I kind of liked it, but I only used it once, and I never saw it used, but I just wanted to mention that. Rush is actually someone who tests things a lot, but I don't think he would do that in the qualifier. Just want to throw that out there. It's kind of a funny, very niche reaction. Now, he should start his eBay right now. He's got that second Rax going. Of course, that's after this Academy. It's going to start some medic production, get a comm sat out just to double check on the Spire timing. Yeah, there's that engineering bay. That's a well-timed engineering bay. Realistically, I think he should go for a bunker in front of the depots there. It would protect those depots really well, but there's a possibility if it's like a Ling Muta all in that the bunker falls a little bit more quickly, but I think it's worth here. Yeah, this looks really good for Rush right now, in my opinion. But the thing is, it's not, you can't say that he's technically ahead, because this is just what the build is from True. It's just Rush is countering it as good as we know how to counter it. Like, he's read the situation really, really well. So he goes bunker behind. A little bit easier to harass the depots, but way better defensively against Ling Muta if it is a very aggressive play. So going to load that up with a couple Marines, and the rest of his Marines back into that main base. Third hatchery being taken by True. I wouldn't mind True trying to pull off like a Guardian Rush or something here. I think that would be a very reasonable way to approach this. You know, when you go for this quick of a layer, your economy is hurting a little bit, but Terran has to make lots of missile turrets. They have to be really careful because, like, this build leads into Mutalisk all in very often. Very oftentimes. But if you go too many turrets, too many Marines, and your opponent goes for like a Guardian Rush, then sometimes you can come out on top with that. But we'll see what he's going to go for here momentarily. Just building up his Mutalisk count. He needs to get a decent count to try to punish anything he finds. He's got a decent bank built up, waiting for an Overlord to finish, no doubt. Macro hatch in the main base after the hatch at the third base. We just saw a scan, yeah, just at the natural. He's just checking for production. Is my opponent making Mutalisks still? No static D as of yet. Oh, that's a well-timed factory. It's a very well-timed factory. Okay. I actually quite like how Rush is playing this. Notice how he's on just 2 racks and then goes factory, then third barracks. I think that's a pretty strong choice. That is kind of like potential counterplay in case it was something like a Guardian Rush. That's well-timed so that he should be able to hold on against a more technical follow-up here. Because he's playing super defensively already. So, like, the Mutas themselves are going to be hard-pressed to end this game. Really well played from Rush here. He does a little pressure out the front, then backs up. Still just layer tech here from True. That SCV stuck. Stuck forever. All right, more barracks on the way. He's getting that starport. The Muta's going to be dogging this army a little bit. I wonder, like, notice how he doesn't have the second gas? It looks like it'll probably... He has to make an armory with this. Yeah, that must be the armory below the turrets. But, ooh, very nice pickoff on the medics. Medics, of course, just kind of doing what they feel like instead of what you tell them to. No, the Marines were in a wall. There's probably a damaged Marine behind that they were glitching out trying to get to. But either way, the way that Rush is playing this is a Valkyrie timing. If True can identify this and just hold on to Lurker, it'll probably turn into a big macro game with mech involved, is my guess. But, like, once 1 or 2 Valkyries come out, Rush is probably going to do a very heavy push towards the natural. And there's no static D there. So the odds of True holding this, like, he's going to have to get the Lurkers up in time. We see the Hive on the way. He is researching Lurkers right now. I think Rush might have to go on the first Valkyrie. We'll see how True can deal with that. If he can kill this army one time, I think we'd probably go to game 3. But, yeah, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. Medic gets picked off. Evolution Chamber coming up there for True. Hydra's popping out. See, there's the first Valkyrie. I think that this is the right push timing for Rush. Oh, he actually made a siege tank as well. Okay. Now, is True going to go for the counterattack? It looks like it. Maybe stop some of these reinforcements. He wants Rush to turn around. Thing is, Rush doesn't turn around here. There's no way. Rush has to go. Because once those lurkers... Oh, look, he gets him to turn around a little bit. Very important movement there. The lurkers are going to finish before Rush can kill him. So this gives a nice advantage, but Rush is making some siege tanks. So there's potential to push through the lurkers with siege tanks. Oh, hold position. Oh my God. This could be crazy, guys. This could be crazy. Science facility is on the way. He's got 2 siege tanks. I think Rush has identified that he's not far enough out on the map and he doesn't know where anything is. I think he's going to stay back very defensively. But, okay, so if True attacks in and screws up and loses his lurkers, he'll just lose the game. I think the hold position was the right idea. Oh my God, he's just going to attack in. This isn't going to work. Pull back, pull back. Yeah. Well, there's still things to work on for True. This was just so not the move. So insanely not the move for him to make. The attack in just doesn't make even 1 iota of sense there. I do not... Like, you know, that's the thing. Your greatest strength in StarCraft is your greatest weakness. Except for Soma, Sulky, and Flash. The, like, it's... You know, his aggression does so well for him, and then he does something like that, and it's like, oh, well, you just lost, you know, 18 Mutalisks for free. You lost a bunch of lurkers. That was never going to work, unfortunately. He does have a nice hold position here, but I don't think it even matters. It's like, yeah, okay. He's got tanks here, so he's just going to kill everything. Unfortunate for True. It felt like he was getting himself into a very cool position, but looks like not one that he was prepared to play. So this is all but finished up at this point, I would say. Oh, the links around is kind of nice with the lurker flank. Yeah, the Marines stay alive, though, on the left-hand side. If the links had been able to knock those out, maybe he recovers somehow, but yeah, unable to do it there. It's really unfortunate because that one attack True did, like, he went from a position where he had blocked all of Rush's plans, and then he's like, well, I blocked your plans and now I'll attack you. And it's like, well, he didn't waste any army. Like, he actually has an army that will crush what you have coming. If he had just played to Defiler from there, I honestly think he would have been in very good shape to win the game. Now, Rush is a better player, so maybe he feels like, you know, Rush will still be favored from there. I don't think that's the case, but that could be what he was thinking. Maybe a lack of confidence, or potentially even overconfidence. I don't want to say that I know exactly what's in his head, but yeah. Rush at this point, Rush is so good in these positions. He's definitely one of the stronger SK Terran players out there. He's moving back and forth, getting lots of picks here. We're already on the brink of death for True. You know, 70 supply is kind of the line where you're about to die. And he's at 59 supply. So not looking very good here for True. He is hanging on by, just a thread at this point. Picks off that Defiler. Single lurker in the middle of the map. He doesn't care at all. Bunch of forward Marines with the fire bat there. Look at that. See, you don't have enough units to protect both areas. See, he sends them back through to defend this, and then the other group could have done something, but actually Rush is busy microing over here. Picks off some lurkers. Trading Marines for lurkers right now is amazing for him. Just barely staying alive right now is True. Yeah, the free kills are really, really stacking up. Third and fourth bases being taken by Rush. Definitely one thing he really excels at is getting those additional bases set up in TVZ. One of the harder things to pull off when all these attacks are occurring. You can see he's playing at 400 APM right now. Oh, that was a really nice plague. Very nice plague. Oh, that's going to be a little bit annoying to deal with. The Ling going to kill off the SCV, making that command center. A dropship loaded up for some additional harassment. So this position, True is actually pretty good at. He actually plays kind of a modified Hydro Lurker Defiler. He actually adds in more Zerglings than most players. I don't know if he'll do that here because his economy is very, very weak. So he's not going to have the excess of minerals that you sometimes have when you have a stronger economy. Like if he had 50 drones here, well, 50 is kind of a lot for 3 bases anyways, isn't it? But 31 is pretty low for 3 bases, I'd say. So I'm not sure that he'll add in the extra Lings that he normally does with this. Or if he even is going to have an opportunity to do much of anything as this drop is dealing insane damage. You got 9 drones in the last moments here. The drop just does insanely, insanely well. The multitasking here of Rush showing his level. He's killed that Nidus with the drop, so that base is pretty much impossible to defend over the long term. Oh, a nice little move with these lurkers. Okay, but Rush sees it instantly and doesn't really take damage here, just runs. No vision to the high ground there, unfortunately. Kind of a brave moment here from True. Trying to push everything back by moving the lurkers over. Left one so the Marines couldn't run up the ramp. Very smart, very smart. Okay, so True is on 19 workers. I mean, it's the ASL qualifier finals here for Group 4. So you can't blame him for kind of staying in the game and trying to make this happen. But it's not too likely. The thing is, Hydro Lurker Defiler is basically the most cost efficient you can get. The cost efficiency can be pretty insane if they don't have like a huge amount of siege tanks. So, like, you can grind back from this in pretty abysmal circumstances. Now, on 19 drones, he's got 67 supply. So he's got enough supply technically to hold on, but not enough economy to do anything with. So that's kind of the real problem here. Like, he has actually a decent amount of units that can stay alive for a long time. You can stay alive with just the dregs of units with this, as long as you have, like, a Defiler and some other stuff. Great irradiate there. Totally worth a vessel. Yeah, his drone count is so bad. At this point, like, really, from Rush, what we should see is he should just have 3 factories just pumping units. The thing is, he's so far ahead, I could see an argument to just make more bio in a way, because you can apply pressure more quickly. But, like, that plays towards the only win condition for his opponent, which is just constant defense with the defilers and constant cost efficiency. The tanks basically shut down the cost efficiency levels that you need to come back in this game, because the Hydro Lurker Defiler can't really walk forward into siege position. So, like, let's say you have 8 tanks and you just kind of move them towards your opponent slowly and siege them up. It's like, yeah, he can't, over time, he's just not going to hold on against that here. Maybe if he had 4 bases and, you know, 50 drones, yeah, maybe. Nice little move here from True. The radiates on the defilers, like, he's just doing just enough here to make it so True can't get anything to happen. GG, and Rush qualifies for ASL. Okay, here we go into our next qualifying match. Okay, so it's going to be Royal going up against Skay. Royal has won game number 1 here. And this is the finals of Group 3. So the last one we just did was Group 4 finals. Just to mention, the qualifier days are very long. They're split into morning and afternoon groups. So it's 5 or 6 groups. And then, you know, that'll be the end of a video. And then the other 5 or 6 groups. So the overall, just to make sure you understand, the ASL qualifiers will have 2 videos going on to Soup and 4 videos going on to YouTube, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Royal versus Skay, kind of a fun matchup. Royal, as I said, I think is one of my favorites for this season. He's been playing out of his mind. He is an ASL champion, and I need to be honest with what I think about it. Like, I think his run was pretty lucky. He basically didn't have to play against Protoss, and he wasn't super strong in that matchup at that time. He was a Zerg killer, and he had really teched out builds, and that was the vast majority of his games was just eliminating, like, really great Zerg players. So, I mean, it's a great accomplishment to get a ASL victory, but it wasn't as complete a victory as some people get, right? Like, occasionally you just get through on, like, a matchup. I like to see people play all 3 matchups to do it. Now, that being said, like, he's had very rough seasons since then. But right now, all 3 matchups, I think he's so good. Well, at this point, I think Flash is the heavy favorite going into this season. I'll do a full prediction video once we have everyone qualified, but I think Royal is definitely one of the guys who might be able to do it this season. Like, he's probably my #1 Terran pick other than Flash to potentially win a championship. Just in great shape. Skay over here. Skay is very good, and he's been very active for a long time. He is trying really hard. He actually scouts this right away, so he'll get a little damage on the Marine. The SCV with completely perfect micro actually can beat the Marine, I think. Like, the thing is, it feels like always someone has better micro than the other guy. And latency has a lot to do with it. Like, if it's turn rate 24, though, I think the SCV can actually just beat it with perfect micro. Beat the Marine. Now, Skay comes out with 2 Marines after dealing damage to that first Marine. And so he's got a pretty big advantage as far as the Marines go. He's made 3 here, in fact. Let's see if he does a cheese. A 3rd depot and making 2 vultures with this is actually a really strong play, since he already dealt damage to those. But the thing is, if Royal were to make a bunker, he'd just get so far ahead. Oh, he did make a 3rd depot, didn't he? Did he? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I think I looked at this. Oh, the SCV came in. SCV came in and killed one of the Marines. That's funny. So that's going to force Royal into at least a couple vultures. And in fact, Skay's going to go double vulture. Oh, okay. So he's going to expand and do the 2 vultures anyways. And, like, he actually has good potential here for damage. This has really good potential for damage. Because it's going to be 3 Marines against 1. And that Marine has already taken a hit. And then he's going to have a Vulture versus a Vulture. And he has a second Vulture coming up, but the second Vulture will be here first for Royal, I believe. Yeah. So, okay, he's got to target down the Marines really fast. Okay, he actually... Royal deals with that really, really well. Skay's micro was a bit off, and he didn't wait for his second Vulture. So probably the best thing to do was to poke and then pull back and then go back in with the second Vulture. Because he could have done something like killed the Marine, kept all of his units alive, maybe taken just a little bit of Vulture hull damage, backed up far enough that Royal had to stay in his natural and then go in again. So definitely an executional error there from Skay. He definitely had more potential than that. He was going to have a decent window of 2 Vulture, 3 Marine against 2 Vulture. And so that never ended up happening. So, you know, Royal is right back. In fact, Royal's ahead slightly if you just look at the worker count. And he's landed this barracks, which is very annoying to Skay as well. It looks like both sides are going to go 3 Factory Vulture from here. But Royal with more SCVs. Like, I prefer the more SCV approach. Well, obviously, more SCVs is better than fewer SCVs. But Skay will get ahead on Vultures slightly because he's getting his factories a little bit quicker. Which is part of why, you know, he has less SCVs. Not that many, not that much faster though, honestly. Looks like Royal's just doing a little bit better on his optimizations. Not surprising, as that is his strength. So, Vulture Wars. There's a few things very important about Vulture Wars. First off, if you're both making Vultures like this, and you have like the same number, you can make a tank. And it's really hard for your opponent to read that you're making a tank, and the tank will help you to not die to your opponent's Vultures. Speed is more powerful than mines. Mines are more defensive. You know, adding extra factories, like if you have more Vultures than your opponent, it's pretty bad for your opponent. Like whoever gains map control in TVT, it's huge. Okay, so Skay is just full on. Yeah, he's super all in. Look at how he's 12 workers behind. And he's adding that 4th factory. So, like, he is 100% all in. Royal is not adding another factory. I don't know if he's making an armory, but if he were to make 3 Goliaths here, he basically wins the game. It's not that simple, but at his level, maybe it is that simple. But if we get an engage, like, I could see Skay potentially winning this. Like, if he just gets, like, 2-3 more Vultures and engages correctly, he might be able to bowl over Royal before Royal has anything else. 5th factory. Dude, he's on 26 SCVs against 39. He's so all in, it's insane. Now, the thing is, if you make like a flat line of Vultures sometimes, the thing is you have to have them also relatively close, but you want all your Vultures shooting at once. It's hard to attack into Vultures that aren't moving because the ones that aren't moving are much more likely to attack first. Look at Royal set up very defensive mines. He's really identified what's going on. He knows that his opponent is super all in with these Vultures. Okay, lands that. That means that Skay's getting ready to attack if he landed the barracks. He wants to screw up the Vultures, have them firing at something else, have them out of position. This is never going to work for Skay. This is... Royal right now is up 17 workers. Skay does have more Vultures, but you can't attack into that. How do you attack into that? Your Vultures aren't all going to attack. And look, now he's getting tanks. Yeah, Skay played himself into a corner this game. Unfortunately for him. Look at this tank just go to the front. Oh, shit! The Vultures are dancing over each other. Okay, well, it didn't end up mattering that much. But sometimes stuff like that happens because you're right next to the mining. And you saw how it started to ricochet towards the front. If Skay stayed there, does he maybe start to get a little bit more of an advantage? Because, like, we might have 4 or 5 of Vultures, the Royals Vultures not attacking. Potentially, maybe. Now, Skay just keeps making Vultures. Like, he is so all in and he knows it. He knows right now that he's not going to qualify for ASL today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. Hey, that's a good pick. But 3 tanks are out. Royal's sitting in a very defensive spot, and now he's made Goliath. This game's over. GG. And Royal qualifies for ASL. Okay, we're going into our next match. It's going to be Comm versus Light. Very, very exciting stuff. And in fact, yeah. Knockout for game number 1 here. Ooh, I'm excited. Comm here in the bottom left. And in the bottom right, we have Light. Okay, this is a better match than you think it is. Okay? So, Light is the better player. Light is one of the strongest macro Terrans that there are. But Comm is a huge brain. He is one of the brainiest players that we have in StarCraft. A lot of people who do well in tournaments thank Comm for build orders or coaching or whatever it is. He was a champion back in the old days, which is something we can't say for Light, right? Like, Comm won an MSL, Light never won anything until an ASL. In modern days, like, Light is the guy you want on your team. But Comm is, like, the guy you want in your corner, if that makes sense. So, like, potentially, Comm will have either some cool builds or some cool strategies here that have potential to beat Light. Now, the one problem with that is that generally the really cognitive, intelligent player, the way to really overcome them is to play a godly macro game where you just make a lot of units and you just kind of out macro them. That's where the really smart players get in trouble, because it's like, yeah, it's basically brute force through whatever you're trying to do. But yeah, you can never count a player like Comm out. All right, so Comm expanding. Light is going for a 1-base macro build, by the way. The spawn that he's at, I believe, has a Zergling tight wall. Whenever you have 2 depot, the depot touching the top of the barracks is tight. Touching the bottom of the barracks is not tight. Touching the left side of the barracks will let a zealot through. Touching the right side of the barracks will not. But it will let, like, Marines and Zerglings through. So you got to, like, know all these little things about where it is. So basically, when it's 2 depots on top of the barracks, that's Zergling tight. So that allows Light to... He could defend against 1,000 Zerglings with 1 Marine if he needed to. So this is, like... It basically allows him to do, like, a very greedy tech build where he doesn't need to build any Marines. He'll probably end up making one, just to make sure that he has something there to push away, like, a drone or whatever. But yeah, he's going for the factory, and he actually has taken his workers off of gas, so it looks like he'll probably expand. Now, this could be a mech build. I've seen Light practicing some Goliath builds lately. It could be a Valkyrie rush. I mean, it could... Yeah. Those are really the 2 builds it could be. Could be the... It could be like a Valkyrie Vulture build. Those have been pretty popular lately. But yeah, he should be expanding very shortly here. I'm excited to see what he has, because this is going to be Light's best stuff right now. He's in a qualifying match against, Comm. Now, he's mining out the minerals. That might have something to do with why he's doing this. This makes that ramp really big. So, like, basically, if you go for vultures, a lot of times what happens is they make a sunk and then they just block the ramp so you can't run by. Very hard to block a ramp that wide. So if you mine out those minerals, vultures have better run-by potential. Perhaps that's what he's going for. Again, not sure. Okay, so it is going to be a 1-1-1. Most likely a Valkyrie build. I'd be pretty surprised, but also pretty excited if this turned into a Vessel build. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think this will be Valkyrie. Valkyrie's trending up once again, even though players have gotten much better against Valkyries. Just because mech switches are trending so hard, the Valkyrie goes better with the mech switch than other 1-1-1 builds. Okay, so Armory is... Oh, wait a minute! He's making a Wraith! Ooh, this is interesting. This is old school. This is like ASL Season 6-ish era type of 1-1-1. To open a Wraith here, that's like, it's just very uncommon to see a Wraith before add-on in this type of situation. Now, he's made a bunker. He's going to go ahead and throw a few Marines in there. Comm taking a third base over at 9. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited. So that's the eBay. I believe he made an armory down at the bottom, right? I'm pretty sure I saw it. Very, very good there. Easily holds. Wraith coming out. Gets a hit on the Lings. They were going to see him anyways. Add-on for both. Armory almost done. This is almost like a Corsair opener. Notice how the Wraith is getting over here. This literally looks like PvZ. Notice how the Wraith is coming over here. And, like, he's able to get one Overlord and get a Scout before the Scourge. This is actually super fascinating. You can think of the bunker with, like, 1 to 2 Marines as well as the Vultures. Those are, like, the Zealots / Cannons. Like, they could put on pressure, so he has to defend, but also they stop the incoming attacks. Then the Wraith does the initial Valkyrie scouting and Overlord kill, and then the Valkyries actually are the Corsairs, right? Where they'll actually counter the Mutalisks. This is like Light has kind of adapted this build into a PvZ build. He's taken a PvZ build, rather, and adapted it into a TvZ build. I am really, really fascinated by this. Now, the Wraith, is he going to run that? Or is he going to sack it on the Overlord? Okay, he gets the Overlord and runs it. Best of both worlds. No, he kills it quicker. And now the Vultures are going to leave out. So this is, see, this is very similar to the Zealots, right? He probably has speed about to finish, is my guess, but I'm not 100%. Good defense there from Comm. Not likely to get Vultures by there. Macro Hatch coming up. No upgrade on the eBay, so it looks like it'll probably be straight to mech from here. Few Speedlings come out. Looking for Valks. Good micro there. Yeah, the Muta's gonna get just crushed. Oh, he actually misses there. Should have gotten a volley. Okay, he gets one anyway, so it's okay. So really, really punishing that right now. And we should see a mech factory explosion. No! Oh, he actually is going into bio. Now, he's only going into bio after the Mutas flew through there. If I'm Comm right now, I'm like, is he going right into the mech? It's a little bit hard to read this situation because the Mutas were just in there. And there's like, the eBay isn't blinking, but it is still landed. Right? A little hint, maybe. You know, you don't see like a bunch of Marines or barracks making or anything like that. It's just like factory and starport production. So looks like he is just going to go into some bio play. We saw the Hydralisk Den on the way. If Comm can divine what's happening and get some lurkers up relatively quickly, I think the position favors him. Yeah, I think it favors him really reasonably well. Now, look at this. Some mines going up in front. The Speed Vulture's going to come out. That's a lot of barracks coming out. This is... if I was Comm, I'd be like, yeah, this kind of looks like it's going to be mech. If he's doing something like getting Hydralisk speed as opposed to Lurker, I imagine he's still getting Lurker. Because even against mech, the Lurker will be useful and somewhat because your opponent doesn't really have scanners or anything. Such an interesting game. Siege tank coming out. It's going to be vessels. Wow, getting some harass done. What an advanced Terran vs. Zerg game we're looking at here. As soon as he scanned that, Light had a big smile on his face. He's like, all right, I'm going to 1-0. When you see that he's still lair and you have this much anti-muta and you have that many barracks and, you know, you have a vessel coming out right now to go with your siege tanks, how in the world is he going to stop this push? It really doesn't seem possible to me. 6 barracks production? No, it doesn't seem possible that he has any way to stop this. I think, like, hold position lurk would be like one of the only things that you'd have a chance with. Do those have speed? I couldn't quite tell because they were dancing on each other, so it was hard to see. Yeah, this push is going to be insane. No, they don't have speed. So hopefully lurker eggs start here in a second. Queen's Nest on the way, but that's way too late. Like, Defilers are so far away at this point, and Light's army is insane. That's a good kill. Getting the Vessel's a very good kill. That's the most valuable unit right now. The Siege Tank's very valuable as well. The Mutas are going to just evaporate. These Valkyries are... hits one of them with the Scourge, but pushes them back instantly. Not sure how many scans Light has right now. Does have that +1. He should have range. Should have siege. Okay, he sees where the lurkers are, so he knows what he has to push through. Valkyrie's going after some overlords a little bit. Oh, is he going to rotate to the next base? Oh, does that hit the gas, actually? I'm not sure of this. That hits gas? Crazy. I had no idea. I had no idea that hits gas there. Wow. You don't normally see Zerg expand that as their third. That's a more common third if you're playing against mech as opposed to bio. So you don't see it too often. Lurker's coming for a flank. I tell you what, this build, like the way... This really looks so much like a Protoss vs. Zerg game. Like the way that Light has played this. It's like his High Templars are the Siege Tanks. His Dragoon Zealot is the Marine Medic. His Valkyries are those Corsairs. It's really, really impressive. Dude, that was such a good move as well. He had all these lurkers over here. I think they were on hold position. Maybe not anymore. I think they were, but if he had walked through that, that could have been a game win, actually. If he had slaughtered that whole army, 5 lurkers would have just sliced that army up in like 2-3 volleys. Hive is on the way. Another vessel is out. That's been the crux of this build so far. Getting that early vessel with the Scourge made a huge difference. That's part of why he's still alive. But now Light moving back into position with another. He's going to really pay attention, I think, to this. Really pay attention to this vessel and keeping it alive at this point. Killing off a few lurkers. Look at Comm's expansion at 12, by the way. That is a pure hidden expansion. That's like the last place you would scout right now for a base. It's just not somewhere you'd think about. It's so easy to attack. It's so easy to kill. So a little bit of a risk coming out here from Comm. You can't blame him, considering the position. Looks like Light should be taking game 1, though. GG. Light takes game 1. Okay, we're going into game number 2 here between Comm and Light. We're on Sylphid. Light with a Protoss vs. Zerg build, basically, in that first game. So interesting to see. Let me know what you think about that. It was very cool. Because it was kind of like the Valkyrie Vulture builds that we've seen, but a little bit different. A little bit different. He got, you know, a couple of the things, because I've casted a few games of really cool Valkyrie Vulture builds lately, but it has a lot more to do with the Vultures. This was quicker Valkyrie, but it had the Wraith specifically to get the Scout, instead of like spending money on those Vultures and everything. So he sacrificed a little bit of economy to get the quicker starport, because he went factory before the command center as opposed to gas after the command center for the factory. So he got his Valkyries out a little bit quicker. Not super quicker, though, because he made that Wraith. But the Wraith got good scouting, got an Overlord. He had the defense up. Just very, very cool stuff. I really like the build. Really like it. And I love watching matchups learn from each other. And occasionally even games learn from each other. We've seen StarCraft 2 builds come into StarCraft 1. And we've seen StarCraft 1 theory go into StarCraft 2 occasionally as well. It's wonderful to see these types of things cross over between the two StarCrafts and between the different matchups within the StarCrafts. Absolutely love it. So Comm up there at 12 o'clock, Light in the bottom right. Hope that you guys are enjoying. Please make sure you follow, whether you're watching on Soup or on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channels. Appreciate you all. ASL qualifiers, my favorite time. Can't wait to see who ends up getting through so far. All Terran players. Oregon, Mong, Rush, Royal. Although Royal was over another Terran. But yeah, now Light is up against Comm. So we might be qualifying a bunch of Terran players first. And yeah, hopefully get into those other ones. A few things to note is, like, for instance, 3 of the top 5 Protoss in the world are already qualified for the next season. Just to mention, because those are guys that always make it in. Mini lost, so he's going to go to game day 2. That's kind of like a big deal. And we haven't seen Rain play yet. But Bisu, Snow, Best are already in. And those are the 3 guys most likely to win a championship over Mini and Rain, I would say. We never know what type of shape Rain is in. And Mini is like, what, boon or bust? Like, something like that. He's a little bit risky. He's going to win an ASL occasionally, but not consistently. The type of way he plays. All right, Overlord coming down into position. This is a hard position to defend against Mutalisks, just to mention. We'll see if he goes for a bio-based play or if he goes for a quicker tech. It looks like it's going to be bio-based, though. We'll see in just a second here, because you have to make the gas like right now if he's going to go for tech-based. Oh, okay. He does. He makes the gas right now. So there's, with the 3rd depot, this could be a 1 barracks academy. This could be a 1 barracks engineering bay. I don't think it's going to be a quick factory, though. Actually looking at this. Yeah, 1 barracks academy. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I think this is a nod towards how tricky Comm can play sometimes, although it doesn't, like, nothing looks particularly tricky from Comm. But the quick academy rush is the best defensive opener that Terran has. Like, if you just get a very fast first academy, you can actually hold on against anything. 2nd barracks is on the way. Marine's going to push out for a little bit of pressure here. He sees a creep colony being made, so the Marines, like, he'll probably, like, I think what'll happen is Comm will chase the SCV once the Sunken is up, and he wants to kill some of the Zerglings as they chase the SCV. It's most likely what we're going to see here. Because he can't actually hit before the Sunken's up. But he has forced a single Sunken with a 1 Rax Acad. None of that works out, but that's good. That's good. You're pretty happy with that. I think right now Comm isn't really sure what's happening, which is why you got the Sunken. If you're not sure, you kind of need the Sunken. Because if it happens to be a Vulture, you can just lose to 1 Vulture if you did not make 1 Sunken. It's just one of these fail-safe things. And in fact, even those Marines walking up, if you, like, just made drones, you could die to that too. The 1 Sunken really saves you from a lot of stuff. Now, already mutas are on the way. Nice scan goes down. The eBay is finishing up now, so it's going to be perfect timing on these turrets. Really perfect timing. Good, solid decision from Comm. Muta's very good on Sylphid. All right, the Muta's flying across the map now, but missile turrets are all going to be up in time, it looks like. Only 2 racks for light so far. Sits back very defensively. We'll see if he focuses over here. Now that's as good as you can place the turrets, what we see. That natural is the hardest place to defend against Mutalisk harassment out of the entire map pool right now. It is incredibly hard. Basically, the bottom patches, like the back 3 patches on the back bottom left of that natural, are barely covered by a missile turret. And then they kill the missile turret, and you're like, All right, good defense there from Light. I'm surprised Comm dived that hard right there. Of course, one thing to note is that because Comm is behind Light here, it's a little bit harder for him to get to the natural in position. He has to fly a bit further for the harassment. Is Comm just going all in with his mutas? Kind of looks like it. Now, to be fair, he's playing against 2 racks, so there is some potential with the strategy. If you're on 3 racks, if your opponent is on 3 racks, this generally won't do anything, but he's actually doing a pretty darn good job. Yeah, he's getting a fair amount of SCVs here. Light having a hard time holding on. I believe he has added another barracks, so maybe that'll help him out a little bit, but he's got to actually secure this. He actually didn't get a good repair down on that turret, unfortunately. Still making some more. The Muta's just diving on top of everything. Now, don't forget, Comm doesn't have a 3rd base. Ugh, when something starts not working here for him, it's gonna be bad news. Comm may want to pivot to another area. Well, he's still picking off a lot of SCVs, so maybe I'm wrong on that. It was not a 3rd barracks. My bad. So he's actually going for Starport plus very quick Valkyrie, and that's... I think this is the best thing he can do. Missile turrets, SCVs, Marines, and medics, and make a Valkyrie. And if he can get 3 Valkyries and keep them alive, he'll win this game. That's basically what this comes down to. You can see this positioning is actually terrible for Light. Comm can abuse this like crazy. Look at the little hole there. The control tower is useful because it'll cap him at 1 Valkyrie. And he's going to have to wait 25 seconds to build a new one if he gets that. Because you're not going to queue up 2 Valkyries. They cost 250 minerals. He doesn't have that type of money right now. He's squeezing in things when he can. Queen's Nest. Hydra's coming out. The funny thing here is, like, when you see Hydra's coming out and a Queen's Nest on the way, like, it looks like he's going to get the, Hive relatively quickly here. But based on, like, no second gas, Valkyries being made, Lurkers here are going to be very strong. If you can get 5 Lurkers burrowed right outside the natural of Light, you're going to win this game. Okay, he's pulling those Hydras back. Light is pushing out. Like, he scanned and he saw the Hydras, so he knows that the production of Mutas is done. And he's moving out immediately with this Valkyrie. This is very good play from Light. Light's fundamentals are, like, the top. He's really, as far as fundamental play goes, like, he's flash level on that. It's crazy. Chasing these Mutas away. I think he's just going to have to zone everything out for a little bit. Rebuild his SCVs a tad, make a few siege tanks, have his second gas mining, get a vessel... All these important things because, well, that's going to be a good kill. The Lurker's coming down now. The timing to contain Light is kind of gone. Like, because he has bio on the map, he can do things like deny the 3rd base. The containment doesn't do nearly as much. Like, there's potential for a flank and all that. Ooh, gets the slide on. Oh, my God, that was perfect. That was basically perfect. And now he has siege tanks against these Lurkers as well. And you see the group behind. Very unlikely that Comm is going to be able to break through that. No vessel, though, actually. I don't know. He must be making a science facility, I would imagine. That's why you would be getting the second gas here, probably. But I guess there is a world in which you just utilize scans to push out of here. And maybe do a mech switch right away. But it felt like a game with the second gas timing where he would want to go for a vessel here. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Okay, this is very smart. See how he's pushing these back? Oh, that was a good timing on the siege and scan. Okay, light's going to crush everything. All right. Well, not looking very good for Comm right now, that's for sure. A lot of Valkyries out here, too, which can still cause quite a hassle. We still don't see exactly where Light wants to go with this game. It's been kind of a down and dirty game with lots of damage, so that's okay as well. Just producing a lot of units and preventing Comm from doing things is going to be good enough for now. Comm coming out, you know, Dark Swarm is something that's going to make his units completely invincible. There's literally nothing that's going to do anything against that right now. Like, he has a couple siege tanks, but as soon as you burrow that lurker, might be good for Light to just start spamming out fire bats, honestly. He doesn't need Marines anymore. Fire bats here would be great. He has no vessels or anything, so it's an issue. But yeah, if Light keeps like a forward zoned out defense, okay, that's either mines or speed that he's getting right now. It does look like it's probably going to switch into mech, but you don't actually have to. Like, you could play like constant factory units plus bio here. That would be doable. Because there's like really low economy for Comm. So just having like a good base army. Like, Comm isn't going to have enough of anything to, like, just crush. Okay, so he's adding a couple factories. I did see the eBay blinking, so there's still a little bit of a question, but I think he'll probably just make a few more rounds of, like, Firebat Marine, and then... Ooh, Plague, that is something you have to Plague. And then go full mech switch, I think. Because, like, 3 racks, 3 fact doesn't really make too much sense on 2 base. It seems like a transitionary period. He's looking for the Plague. Light knows that, too. Light is one of the better Valkyrie users. He's invented some of the strongest Valkyrie builds that we have. Like, Valkyries are very weak to Plague. It feels like they can be used like Corsairs, but, like... you know, eventually you get enough that you can kill the Scourge relatively easily. It's just, then they get, Plague out, and it's like, okay, well, you know, that's a lot of money you spent on those, and they're all at 1 health. Really good job killing off multiple Valks. Okay, big bunch of fire bats coming out. Exactly what you want to see here. Wow. That's actually an issue. Is he trying? Well, I mean, he's still so far ahead for sure, but... like, if you're going for a mech switch, it's really important to keep your Valks alive. Like, he was trying to look for extra damage, but losing 5 Valkyries... What can happen here is if the bio dies off, and he's going Vulture Tank, there might be a window for a Mutalisk tech switch. Ooh, nice. All right, Firebat's coming in to get these drones. Yeah, I'm not sure. The Firebat's not doing too much anymore. Comm is basically dead here. This is an almost impossible position. The double expansion is going up. He is getting a Radiate. Some mines being laid around. Still decent Marines. That base is so siegeable from the outside. It's very sad. See, yeah, he's going to burrow a single lurker here. That was great targeting from Light to get rid of the Defiler immediately. He's just going to whittle Comm down at this point. And GG is called, and that means Light will qualify. So into our next qualifying match. This is the Group 5 Finals set number 2. And it's actually YSC, aka Tobo, going up against Hero. Hero, the most consistent ASL player of all time. Tobo, his results lately have been very good. Last season in the qualifiers, without any doubt, he was the most disappointing player to watch in qualifiers because he's someone that's been in ASL a lot of times. He's supposed to be like, you know, a top 7-ish Protoss. And his qualifiers looked really bad. But lately, like, he did very well. He beat Effort in the ASL Open, you know, made it into the top 4. He's been doing much better. Like, his PVZ looks better. And here he is leading against Hero going into Sylphid. So we might have Tobo advance over Hero. That would be crazy because Hero, like, barely even ever has to do qualifiers. He's been top 4 so many times at this point. Like, he has the most top 4 appearances. It's wild. It's so hard to stop this guy. But of course, for last season, he was looking pretty bad. He had some really bad games and kind of slumped for a little bit. He's been coming out of it, though. He's looking very strong once again. Not quite as invincible as he was before, but yeah, I guess we'll see here. That was a really good position Tobo put that into. I tell you, like, I like up-and-coming players. I like old players regaining their skills, but I also like it when you have a player that you really don't expect that's been around for a long time that fills out some of their play. This is something, if you watch a lot of the ArtosisCasts channel, you've seen a lot of Ample games lately, because Ample has been looking just fantastic. He's really improved his play and increased his macro. It seems like Tobo's doing the same thing. Even though he was a little bit more successful than Ample in current years, he definitely has had some weaknesses compared to top Protosses, but here he is. He's like really showing up just recently in the last like month-ish. So very cool stuff. Doing a little bit of harass here with his probe. It's actually really good probe harass. Like his spacing on it was very strong. Getting that quick nexus, throwing down the cannon. And yeah, I mean, it seems like we're gonna have just like a regular PVZ, very likely. We'll see if Hero wants to do something aggressive. Looks like his third base will be that raised ground on the right at 9 o'clock. Gateway coming up for Tobo, and we're kind of in that period now where there's a cannon up, but the gateway's not even done, and Zerga's just droning. So not a lot going on. So I am going to take this moment to thank you guys for checking out the ASL, whether on my soup channel or on ArtosisCasts. Once again, thank you guys. Liking the videos, subscribing to whatever channel you're watching on, leaving a comment if you can. Just spreading the word about ASL. All of it is very appreciated. So thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so 3-hatch Hydra, the name of the game here for Hero. The oldest trick in the book. Well, not the oldest, but one of the oldest. The oldest consistently top strategy in the book. 3-hatch Hydra, probably never going to go away as a strategy. And we'll see, yeah, he's got to get up to 22 drones, and then the Hydra's production should begin. So about 7 more drones. Getting that speed upgrade right now. Hero's going to nail this build without any problem. See if Tobo's able to identify, because he lost that probe, right? And his Zealot's a little bit late. He's kind of microing it around, trying to figure out what's going on as best he can. But generally, a standard Corsair timing is going to see the Hydras like about mid-ish map as they're coming across. So, is he going to be able to know what this is and prepare his cannons in time? That's kind of the big question. Now, he gets that secondary pylon. That's just in case. And here we go. 2 Zealots out here and a probe up to the top. So this is him going out for intel to try to figure out, is this 3-hatch Hydra? Adds a second cannon. That's kind of standard anyways at this time. That doesn't mean he's sniffing out anything yet. Okay, we're up at 23 drones, so it could be a 4-hatch, like a 4th hatch that he's going to try to add pretty soon. But I believe, yeah, we're going to have only Hydras from here. This has been something that's trended up for the last like 6-7 years, is getting a little bit higher economy and then getting an additional drone with it. I don't want to pretend that I understand the exact in and out of this particular variation, but when you see the 23 drones, they call it like the 973 because that's your drones on the patches at your 3 bases. And then they called this one the 9734 where you add a 4th hatch. So it's like basically the rush with an extra drone and you like take the hatch. I don't know. Anyways, the rush is starting, right? Like he's sending out a lot of hydras. And the macro hatch has started up at the natural. Legs on the way, plus the double gate. So kind of the best approach. Best the player, not best the strategy. But I think it is actually a really good strategy. Let's see how many cannons he actually goes for. He's like really kind of trying to skimp on cannons as hard as he can. Tobo definitely wants to go for counter pressure. Look at that. Another macro hatch coming up. So we'll probably see him droning now. And Tobo's actually going to get another Overlord. That's kind of crazy. Okay. Well, he gets the gate. Like, it just looks like there's perfect defense here from Tobo, so not too worried about it. Adding a couple more gateways now. You know, adding the 2 gates when you see the rush and getting the legs for your zealots really quickly. That's something Best was showing us 3 seasons ago in ASL. And he used it to really great effect against his Zerg opponents. He was like a Protoss vs. Zerg monster in that season. And it's gained some popularity recently. I've definitely seen more of that since Best did that. Cancels that additional cannon as he sees mostly droning occurring. Hero right now trying to get his economy up to par, and he is definitely doing so. High Templars coming out, so that counter pressure not going to occur right now. I do wonder, because that's the second time I've seen the double gate add and then just High Templars being made. So I actually am getting the feeling now. I'm seeing a pattern emerge where this might not be based off of what Best was doing, which was specifically moving out with a bunch of speed zealots more quickly, even though they're getting legs quickly with this. But this is the second time I've seen this variant where the gate dies, they don't move out even though they got the quick legs, and they just start making a bunch of High Templars. It might just be something where like, okay, we got to get those High Templars out quickly to start gaining energy so we get the Psy Storms, and then we can move out. Because this is kind of like an older school approach on how to fight against 3-hatch Hydra, where you try to get Storm and then just move out and punish those Hydras because that's all they have for defense at that point. All right, the Zealot's going to start coming out. 8 gates are up. Look at how many High Templars he made. 6 High Templars is a serious amount. The most common number that we see moving out is 4. Of course, there are later games where you're going to see more, but like just generally in this kind of area of the game, you're going to see 4 High Templars moving. So this is going to be more storms than expected, most likely, on Hero's part. Quite a few Dragoons coming out. I don't know that range is done yet, but I'm sure it's on the way. All right, Storm's one of those Hydras down. Deals some damage to the other ones. Sunk in here in a really great spot, but Storm's here. Oh my god, that Storm is insane. All right, makes an Archon. The drones drill. He might... Oh my god, these Storms are actually crazy. Just crazy. Oh my god, he's killing so much. Dude. Tobo is ascending. Like, he is crushing face. And now he has 3 Archons to go with his Dragoons against Mutas that were on the way. Hero's dead. There is no way Hero's going to take this game. Look at this army from Tobo. This is the first time I've been excited about Tobo's play in a long time. When he was first rising up to be one of the stronger Protosses, he had some exciting new stuff going on. But this is looking amazing. Haven't really seen that since those old days. Now, some good micro there from Hero. He does pick off an Archon. He's going after the goons now. He needs to avoid more Archon hits. He's too low. Ooh, that hit was painful. 1 to 2 more Archon hits are going to destroy the group of the Mutas. He's got to just be perfect micro here. All right, brings them back around. The Mutas can kill everything except the Archons. Targets down that hurt Archon. Look at the way he's moving these Mutas. This is insane. He is trying so hard to hold on right now. It's just the Archon is so hard to deal with. He'll right-click on that with the Hydras. Oh, and he gets it. And he actually only lost 2 more Mutas there. So the Mutas can help clean things up, but he's losing his natural for the most part. Now, one thing to note is Tobo doesn't have a lot of probes at home. Is there a way that Hero can come back in this game? I don't think so. Like, I think that Tobo's done enough damage that he can just make a big army and come out once again, and it's going to be pretty much impossible, but let's see. Pretty scary army being made. 1-1 is done. Ah, Maelstrom. So, Dark Archon going to be on the way for sure. Gonna try to catch these Mutas in a Maelstrom. I haven't seen the 2 DTs yet. Like, he should have probably already began morphing them. Maelstrom is relatively cheap, though. 100 energy. So it doesn't take that long to get it, but still. You know, units start with 50 energy if you don't have their energy upgrade, and then they start with 63. So it does take like a minute after you make them, basically, to be able to cast it. You can see Hero is going to try to grind with these Mutas. They're so low, though. It's a real issue. Even the Dragoons can come out and kill them. Dragoons just do such weak damage to Mutas. Oh, those couple Corsairs. All right, well, he basically gets rid of the Psy Storm, so that's something at least. Let's see if these... No, I don't think these Hydras are going to be quite enough. Well, hold on. He's bringing a few more up. Some very good micro here as well. Kiting back. Having a hard time getting consistent damage there. Only a handful of Dragoons in the back. Starting to whittle some of these down pretty well. And GG is called. Tobo advances over Hero. Okay, so let's recap the first half of the ASL Day 1 qualifiers. Okay, so in Group 1, we had Piano, a.k.a. Oregon, take out Stork. In Group 2, we had Mong end up taking out Mini right there, 2-1. And then we had in Group 3, Royal taking out Skay. In Group 4, we had Rush taking out True. In Group 5, kind of the big upset of the day, I would say, we had YSC, a.k.a. Tobo, taking out Hero. And then we also saw Group 8 because they just kind of went faster. We had Light taking out Comm. No huge surprise there. Now, a couple other of the finals are here, and we'll be seeing this in the second half of the Day 1 qualifiers. And this is going to be JYJ going up against Bishop. That's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, JYJ, obviously, great player, but it's been a while since we've had Bishop this close. Well, no, actually, he made it into ASL semi recently, but he is another one of those rising guys that's like, this guy's probably part of the future group that knocks out some of the older guys and is the new top Gosu. So very exciting to see Bishop there. Ooh. Then up here, we have Leda going up against Sulky. That should be Sulky favored, obviously, but don't underestimate Leda. He's got really crazy, tricky builds and some of the best Wraith micro in the history of the world. So should be a good one. These will be in the second half of the Day 1 qualifiers. And so if you're watching this on Soup, that's coming right up. And if you're watching this on ArtosisCasts, that is the next video coming up. So thank you for watching.